This is Theta Trades, and today we're talking about NAT. And for any of you who've been watching NAT, it has been all over the map. We can look at the 1 week, and they have lost very, very big. At the start of the week, they were around 620, and then they've fallen all the way to 473 at the low, even lower than that. 471, I think, was actually the low today, but it has been ridiculous. I mean, just today you can see we were at one point down almost 5%, and then ended up over 5%. And that just leads us to ask, what is going on with NAT? And the answer is really nothing. There's not been that much news. The only thing that's come out is this news story that Texas is going to allow more oil underground storage. And there's not been a ton of details to come out on this yet, but this is important because obviously the reason all the tankers are so far up is because all of the ground storage of oil filled up very fast, and they were stuck carrying the remaining oil. So this lax in the requirements by Texas could mean that this shortage of storage space might be going away. Now, I do think there's some environmental pushback, so we do have to wait and see how this develops. Short term, I still think NAT is a great play because there's really no way to solve the surplus overnight. One of the main reasons it fell is because it's been trading opposite of oil, and oil has been going up. But the June contracts stopped trading on May 18th, so we could see a very similar thing to last month happen, and this run-up might be the start of that. We're going to have to wait and see. So for those of you who don't know my positions in NAT, I can show you that currently I have sold a put. You can see that here. And I have bought some additional shares. And I sold the put kind of right here, so the price was around $6.25 when I sold. I collected 80 cents of premium, which meant my cost basis was $5.20. In the event I got assigned, I was pretty happy with that deal. And then obviously this crash happened, and I was a little worried. I went ahead though and bought additional shares because I was super confident that NAT was going to come back up. Now originally what I thought it would happen was we saw this run up in late March into the beginning of April. It peaked and then dropped about 36%. And then I was tracking this huge peak, went all the way up to $9, as everyone knows, and then dropped. It dropped to about 35%. You can extend it to 36% to see kind of where that drop would have happened if it was exactly the same. So when it was trading in this range, I thought it was going to go flat, kind of like it did before, until its eventual run-up. After that trend broke, we were kind of looking at this trend line. We're seeing an interaction there, and then it wedged itself into the support and resistance at the end of the last trading day, and this was kind of an important level. So you can see this long-term support and resistance line, it's acted at both at times, has had quite a few interactions. Obviously, yesterday it had interactions in the evening and the morning. Earlier during the run-up, it had several interactions on both sides. On its peak earlier, about a month ago, and then even as far back as a run-up it had in January, there's some interactions here. Not quite as good, but still this 490 level has been an important level for NAT. You can also see this long-term trend line encompasses both these run-ups. This is October of last year, and then January, a couple more interactions. And then this peak we recently saw in April originally became close to this resistance line, and then it broke up and did its thing. So I think long-term, this resistance line is pretty good. And what we saw today was the RSI is pointing straight to the sky. MACD curled up big. We might be seeing some positive momentum here. We saw a crossover as well. So we might be looking at another run-up for NAT. Now, as far as how I'm trading this, I'm looking for it to kind of be in this area around the resistance. I think I could easily see selling out at about $6.25. If it runs up in the next couple of days. After that, we'll kind of wait and see. I'd love to hold through the dividend. So we know the ex-div date is coming up. I believe it's on the 19th. Sorry, correction guys, it's on the 22nd. So if I do end up holding that long, you can see the 22nd is here. Obviously, I'd want to hold all the way through the dividend. And that would probably put an exit around $7, a little bit less because I don't want to be trading right up to the resistance line. I want to get out a little before that. And on the put, we're going to have to wait and see. Obviously, after today, anything is possible. We could easily be back up in the $6 range pretty soon. But in the event of assignment, I'm just going to continue running the wheel like I described in the last video. And I think long term, and long term, as in about 6 months, that'll be a very profitable way to go with NAT. The volatility has been very high, so the premiums are high, and I'm back in the money for that put. I mean, the put I've sold is in the money, but also I would be profitable at this point in time because my cost basis would be 520. It's at 528 right now, but again, we're just going to have to wait and see. Short term though, that RSI pointing straight up, MACD trending up, both of those look very good, and I am eagerly awaiting to see what happens. I'm hoping this 490 level will continue to act as support, and then hopefully we'll trade between these two lines for the foreseeable future. But hopefully that was helpful, guys. I wanted to make a quicker video just checking in on NAT and checking in on my account. You can see relative to when I sold that put, very similar balance. You can see it's been as high as almost 870 and then as low as 778. This was just today. I mean, the volatility on NAT has been unbelievable. So of course, I don't know what happens next, but I do think the short term for the tankers does look very good. And hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to consider subscribing. But more importantly, I hope it helped you make some money. And with that, this has been Theta Trades, and I'll see you next time.